guys, it's Amber. So originally this video was supposed to be me testing out a My Little Pony craft kit that I bought back in like March, and it was a crochet kit, and to say the least, crochet kit made me angry, like really angry. And like I struggled for like 3 hours, or if not more, on one step. I decided to completely scrap that idea. I'm gonna keep the kit. I might try picking up crochet one day in the future. I don't know. I probably should. Most of my family knows how to crochet, so I don't know. I feel like I need to know how to crochet at that point. Not to mention I have a ton of crochet needles that I don't use, but I want to learn how to use them. It's a pain in the butt, to say the least. I struggled really hard. I got irritated. I got so mad, and when I get mad because I really want something and want to do something, because I got mad because I was like, I'm gonna make Twilight. I'm like, yay, I'm gonna make Twilight. I'm gonna choose something. It's gonna be fun. And I didn't get my Twilight toy that I was gonna make, handmade toy that I made, and that's what I wanted. So, in order to rectify this issue, because like I said, I cannot figure out how to crochet. It's like a second language. Trying to read the book, so it's like, yeah, no. So my plan is, because I got so mad, I thought to myself, it took me about a day, and I was thinking about it as I decompressed from the anger that I had built up over the time of working on those hours of trying to just make one or two things with the crocheting, and it wasn't working, and I was irritated. So what I decided to do instead is make my own Twilight template with my Cricut, and I am going to sew it, kind of like I did with my rat, where I used my Cricut to cut everything out and stitch it all together. Granted, it's not going to be exactly like this, and I think I've learned some new tips and tricks on it. This is more of like a patchwork doll, which is what I wanted. For the Twilight that I'm going to make today, and if this works, I might make more of them in the future, either for myself and like friends, if I know anyone who wants them, though I don't know any friends who are as much into My Little Pony as I am. The point is, I'm going to make a doll today. I'm going to sew my own little Twilight Sparkle, since I basically had promised myself I was going to have a Twilight Sparkle toy that I made on my own, and I didn't get that out of the kit, so I'm doing it myself because I'm a masochist and I like to torture myself. And especially when I don't get what I want, I just figure I'll go and do it myself. I really don't know where this is going. I just really wanted to have like a My Little Pony toy that I made on my own, because that was what the kit promised me, and I didn't get it. So I couldn't figure it out, so I decided I'd do something that I know I can do, and take some remnants of the kit, because I'm going to keep the kit around and maybe in the future attempt again. We'll see. But I'm going to make Twilight, and I really don't know what else to say. I just want to make her. So yeah, I'm going to show you guys how I make my Twilight plush.
Using the magic of friendship and with a little help from my Cricut, I managed to cut out all the pieces and organize them into a somewhat reasonable manner. And then I put them all together to just sort of get a rough idea of how everything would look out in the end. Afterwards, I went about pinning and stitching the head and the ears and horn all together. To be honest, I really don't know what I was doing here. I was just sort of trying different techniques, or trying to see if I could try different techniques. Did they all work out? Not really. Is it kind of messy? Yes. Were my stitches loose? Yes. Do I care? No. I still enjoyed this. It was fun. I did learn a little bit. That's all this is me learning. Because, again, I am not much for a sewer. I do a little bit of hand stitching and cross stitching. But I am not really a sewing person. I do have a machine that could make this very much easier for me, but unfortunately I am terrified of my sewing machine and don't know where to start. So, yay! I gotta figure out what to do with that. Maybe one day, but not today. I enjoy the hand sewing process in many ways. It's very relaxing, I must say. But yeah, nothing too much to say about it. Just a little back and forth. Very repetitive, very relaxing. I highly recommend doing this just for fun every now and then. Especially if you just want to watch some TV and do something with your hands. Because that's all I did. I just watched Dexter and sewed. But, yeah. I think I did learn a few things, maybe, about what I should do next, or maybe not do. But we'll see if I remember those things. I slightly remembered a few things from when I did the rat, but honestly I didn't remember much of anything, and I could hardly tell you anything right now. And here I'm going in and adding the mane. What I did in order to make the mane is I just took the yarn from the craft kit that I was angry at, and I kind of always had this idea, like for the dolls that I make, I'd probably do yarn hair, and that's what I decided to do. Just use the yarn for the mane, sort of figure it out. Later on when I do the tail, I actually figured out a better way than what I did here. So, but I didn't really film that. I found if you really want to make wafts of hair, it's better to make a loop and then tie that loop together and stick it wherever you need it to. Though I don't know how well that would have worked for this necessarily. Either way, it's okay. The mane and this one is okay. I found it was better to just add the mane before closing up the head, because otherwise I would never be able to place the mane anyways. Because, the head would be closed, and then what would I do? I also took inspiration from a couple of the Twilight Sparkle dolls that I do have that actually have rope manes as well. I just really kind of like that look on a plush doll. Granted, these are nothing compared to those factory-made dolls, because those are really cute factory-made dolls, I will say. But it is loosely inspired. After sewing up the top of the head, I went in and made the eyes, cutting one out and then shaking my hands with a little bit of magic to make the secondary one. There you go. And then I just stitched them right onto the head using some black string that was in the kit. And that's again where the felt came from. And just sort of placed them where I wanted them. I used this black felt, like I said, so that it wouldn't, take away. It already went in there. You barely can see it. And then also when I needed to add eyelashes, it was very useful. And I'm sorry if you can hardly see what I'm doing, because that is what happens sometimes when you're sewing. You just don't realize where you're at on camera. And you gotta have it, right next to you. I did really like these eyes, and the eyelashes turned out really cute, I will say. I did sort of like a backhand stitch, I think it's called. I really don't know the terminology. And then after having attached the second eye, I went in and I added some little white highlights using some white string that was also in that kit. I did my best trying to figure out different techniques. Some of them I think I added, it was just more knotting. Others it was just a lot of overlap. Can't really tell you what I did because I don't really remember. It's been a while. I got sick. I don't know what I did. Yeah, no, I was not working on this for a week, sadly. So I don't know what I've done. Barely remember anything. I just sort of did it in the moment. And this is where things get ugly, because I started adding the nose, and honestly, the muzzle is not very good. I think there was a better way I could have done this, but I got kind of lazy. And at the moment I was working on this, so I didn't do it. So her nose eventually will just attach into her chest, and it's not a pretty sight. But you know, I guess it works. Her muzzle becomes her neck. It's what it is. I got, like I said, I got lazy. I was getting to the point I wasn't sure if I even liked this anymore, but I was determined to finish it. So it was like, I was like, kind of, I guess you could say I was half-assing it. I really was. But, you know, it was for my own entertainment. I took a little pencil here too, though, just to sort of get an idea where to attach the nostrils and the mouth, because I want her to kind of smile. Since, you know, Twilight's cute and kind of happy, you know. And, you know, again, I liked it when it was at this point. It was fine. It's just when I attach the body that things go way downhill. Speaking of the body, here we are, sewing the little chicken leg body. I don't know why, but every time I look at this body, it was the same thing like when I did the rat. It was like, it's like a little roasted chicken. I can't help it. It just makes me think of roasted chicken. So, yeah, just sort of did the same thing I did with the rat on this one, and just kept stitching and going all around here and there. I did my best to try and keep the arms open. Granted, there was no reason. No stuffing actually went into the arms and legs. But, you know, they were left open as best as possible. Especially, like, in the thighs, though. I like that they got some stuffing later on. Yeah, it was like a lot of back and forth. I had to have the pins in there in order to kind of have things still attached. And I had to be careful not to totally go straight through the back, and it was confusing. This is probably one of the hardest parts, because there's so many, like, attachments, and you gotta figure out exactly how you want the attachments to show. Do you want pieces, like, what needs to be on the inside, what needs to be on the outside, kind of deal. Kind of basic stuff, I guess, though time consuming. Very time consuming. I think this took me about 2-3 days, and I didn't even have full days with them, so at least for the body here. Still fun though, and relaxing. After the body was finished, I proceeded to figure out how I want the head to be attached, and then I sort of like got a little bit of a basing going here, just to get one side from like the back. I wanted them to be slightly connected so that when I filled it with stuffing, I could easily connect it all through. I did have to reinforce the back of the neck there later on. I didn't film that. That was towards the end of everything. I had to go back and reinforce it because it wasn't very well done. But, you know, that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes your stitchings come loose, so you just gotta fix them, and that's okay. Like I said, this is all just practice for me and just something fun for me to do. And then I filled it with stuffing. Now, the stuffing actually came in the kit, so that's what I used. That's why I decided to fill it with stuffing, because I'm like, it's right there, might as well use it. And I'm using, I think it's a wooden dowel. It's a stick, basically. Just to sort of get it as far in there. I wasn't sure if I was going to get it into the legs or not. I didn't get it into the legs, but I managed to get it into the thighs, which was difficult on its own. But, you know, it worked. I don't know if I ever do these again, I don't know that I'll necessarily put stuffing in them. Stuffing's not really my favorite thing to use, I found with this. Not to say I hate it, it's just, I kind of like the beanies better, the little beans that I used for the rat better. And there's just something about that I like, those beans, that I like to feel it, and it gives a lot more movement to the joints, I think. I don't know. That's just my personal taste, I guess, but stuffing's just, it was kind of annoying and problematic sometimes, especially to get in all the nooks and crannies. At least with the beads, they'd fall into place easily, but what can you do? Who knows, maybe one day I'll do a mix of stuffing and beads. We'll just have to see what I feel like. But yeah, here I am. I'm going in and I'm kind of just getting things more sewed on that body, closing up the neck a little, but not too much that it won't connect to the head, because I want to get that head connection. And this is where it gets ugly, folks, because this is where like I said, I attach, even though you can't see, I attached the muzzle to the chest, because I didn't even think about adding a secondary circle or I didn't think about this part of it. I really didn't. But, you know, I think I learned my lesson for the future. But, yeah, no, this is where it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. I kind of hate this part. I could fix it, like I said, but you know, it's a learning experience, and I don't want to have to go and try and restitch and unstitch. No, it's not for me. I mean, overall, like I said, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. I think this is also where I start, like, after all this, the body's, like, the hardest part, because it gets exhausting. But then once you get, like, the head and the body connected, you can go in the extra mile for the extra bits, and that's where it kind of gets fun for the, like, accessory parts. At least I found it more fun once I got past the head attachment and the body, because the body's just a lot, and they're very difficult. Oh, and yeah, here I'm fixing the mane just a little bit. I want it to be a little more even. And then I'm going in right here and starting on the wings. These wings did take quite a bit, I will say. They took about a day and a half each, or I should say a day and a half for one full wing. And they're not filled with anything, they're just fabric on fabric. I wanted to have a two-sided. If you ever watch My Little Pony, you'll know that Twilight doesn't necessarily have different colors on the inside, but I kind of like the idea of giving, like, I've seen other artists do this when they're drawing the different ponies and stuff, and sometimes when they have, like, characters with wings, they'll add the hair color on the inside of the wings. And I kind of like that idea, so I decided I'd implement that into this design and just sort of add, like, I found a fabric that had similar colors to Twilight's mane, and I just sort of, like, went and had that cut up so that it would go on the inside and kind of be like, you know, you open your wings and it's magical, colorful prettiness kind of deal, and I like that. It's something I like. I think it's very pretty and fitting in many ways when you think about how wings look different from above versus underneath. So I just went along the whole edges, just stitching. I want them to connect. Again, I wasn't really caring about quality. I just want it to connect and to kind of look decent enough. And I think I managed to get there. And then again, in order to get the whole wing done, I used a little bit of magic to finish off some feathers. And then I just sort of placed them in an order that I liked. And with these other smaller pieces here that you see, I just sort of laid them on top. My goal was to attach everything all at one end so that when you actually looked at them, they would all look open. And then those little feathers kind of work as the, like, smaller feathers. Like, if you ever look at a My Little Pony toy, anything in My Little Pony that's got wings, again, you can see that there's, like, little extras on the feathers. I mean, in general, in real wings, there's a little bit of extra feathering, too. Not just one row of big feathers. So, that's why I have that secondary row, is to just sort of add that in there. But yeah, it's just a lot of in and out. It was very fun, though, and I think it worked out pretty well. Granted, I will say once I started adding the inner feathers, wasn't the prettiest. Not the prettiest attachment, I will say, because if you look on the back side, you can see the stitchings on the wings. But again, that's my fault. I've never done wings before. This was kind of just me going full out. I don't know what I was doing again. I'm just learning, and I wanted the wings in there, but I wasn't quite sure how to, and I wanted those extra feathers, and but I wasn't sure how to make it so like everything was connected, and yet, you know, nothing was, I couldn't make it pretty, let's just say it that way. It works, they're all connected, it's just not that pretty. You can see all of the stitching on every side, so, yeah. It's something I'm going to have to learn, to fix in the future, but we'll just see how things go. For right now, it worked, it was fine. I didn't mind it. After finishing the first wing, I had to call on some more magic in order to get that second wing done. And that took a little bit. But, you know, we made it. I got 2 wings. I think the second wing came out slightly better, though one of the feathers kind of got misplaced. But here I'm going to use even more magic to attach the wings. As you can see, now they are fully attached. They're not going anywhere, hopefully. I kind of like stuck them all in between so they're all connected from both ends. They're a little broken. I don't know if she got into some magic joke or something, I don't know. But yeah, they're a little broken. They flip-flop every way you want them to. She can fly backwards now, and not in a good way. But yeah, you know, and then you kind of wrap her like a little blanket. I really did like the idea with the wings, and I'm happy with it. And oh, we gotta use magic one more time to get that tail attached. We can't let her go without a tail. I mean, she is a pony after all. What is a pony without their tail? In 1 second, we'll have it. And there we go. We've got a nice pretty tail. I really liked how this tail came out. I just, like I said earlier, I did a loop thing and just sort of attached it back there. Nice and snug. It works. It's pretty. It's long and full and cute. Only one thing left to do now, and that is to get the cutie mark. So in order to add the cutie mark, all I did was take some of that white string again, and I sort of just cross-stitched it in there. Well, maybe not cross-stitch. It's just like a lot of overlapping, just making little stars, because that's all her cutie marks are stars. I did look at the book that came with the crochet kit, because it did have all the cutie marks as a template in there to look at. So I went and I just sort of looked at that to remind myself. That way I didn't have to bring out my phone and everything, and to get the colors correct, of course, too. But it started out with the white, because if you ever look at her cutie mark, it's got white in behind the pink star in the middle. So I wanted to make sure I got that about right. And then I went over with this nice, like after going through my own cross-stitching floss, I went over and found this nice purpley pink and added it under her cutie mark, as her cutie mark. And then again, I went in for some magic and added the second cutie mark. It was pretty easy once you did it after doing it one time already, so. And with that, she was done. There wasn't anything left to do except reinforce her neck, which again, I said I did that off camera, and you know, like I said, I think she turned out pretty good. I don't hate her. I like her. I kind of want to make more of these in the future, maybe. I have all main 6, if not some others that I like from the cast. But, you know, we'll just have to see. Who knows, maybe I'll make Spike one day, I don't know. If you guys like this and you'd like to see more of it, more like this, or have an idea on something that I could make, please, you know, let me know in the comments. You know, tell me your favorite pony. I love Pinkie Pie. I honestly am glad I didn't do Pinkie Pie to start out with one of these, but maybe in the future, I don't know. Who knows? You never know, it all depends on what I'm feeling like. I was just really in the mood to stitch, so that's why I did this. Well, I wanted to work with fabric, I should say, and then I got angry and made this. I'm a lot less angry now, and that's okay. This made me a little happier, and I'm happy with it. I really am. In the meantime, though, I hope you guys check out my Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and my Ko-fi. My shop is open on Ko-fi, and I do take commissions, for those of you wondering.
Not on plush toys yet because I'm still learning how to make those. So in the meantime, I hope you guys all have a fun, inspirational week. Keep on learning, and I'll catch you guys all next time. Bye!